Hello, from the 2019 LEGO Star Wars lineup, this is Major Vonreg's TIE Fighter. Yes, TIE Fighter, not Interceptor, in spite of the shape of the wings. This is from Star Wars Resistance, which is the latest canonical animated series, which actually just wrapped up its first season, and this is contemporary with the sequel trilogy, so this is a First Order craft. It kind of hurts my soul to not call this a TIE Interceptor, but whatever you call it, it's built pretty nicely, and of course that color scheme is very striking. The shaping around the back of the fuselage is pretty interesting and pretty nice. This is a printed piece used for the dish up on top. It's an opaque part, so you're not going to see through there, but that is part of the cockpit opening mechanism. Speaking of mechanisms, they have a nice spring-loaded shooter mechanism here, which just hits the tails of the projectiles that stick out. So you see just how that works right there. Just rocks back and forth. Very simple and effective. So of course, to get into the cockpit, just open this up. You can also bring this down, and that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Got the flight yoke there as well. It's just kind of everything you could ask for, within reason. Would be nice to have a little bit of detail for just some side panels there, but those would have been done in stickers most likely. Nice thing here actually is that this set did not have any stickers used in its build whatsoever. You just have that printed piece. This is a printed front cockpit piece as well. So that's all nice. You've got the simulated cannons in close, so the firing just occurs from down here. Rather than trying to integrate in some spring-loaded shooters there, allows this to actually look nicer. These are printed pieces here as well. Just the overall, the overall production of this, the overall design is pretty clean. Accidentally shot one of those off. I think probably the thing that's easiest to dislike here is the bright color scheme, because we're used to TIEs being so dull in appearance. But if you can get past that, or you don't mind it in the first place, I think this is a pretty nice build to have on display. This is of course Major Vonreg himself, with the almost comically matching color scheme, but this is very accurate, I think, to the on-screen representation that was shown in the show itself. The helmet there is dual molded with the red and the black, which is why you get some very shiny, nice and consistent coverage of the black showing through there. It's done nicely. You got a little bit of print on there, print on the torso hips as well. I'm so glad that they added that little subtle dark red print with the thin lines going through the hips just to connect everything together. I don't think in the show we ever see the back of this character, so the fact that the back torso print is a little bit down on detail really doesn't bother me. I mean, it's nice that it is there at all. I'm glad to not see any awkward skin tone around the neck. This actually has just a plain black head because they don't show the face of the character in the show. This is Kazuda Xiono, spelled with an X at the beginning of his name. He's the star of the show, so this is an important one to get right. Fortunately, the torso print looks pretty good to me. The hip and leg printing is a little bit weak, and it's also offset on mine. That's just a production variation. The face is not printed all that well when you look at it up close. It definitely should have been done better. I mean, LEGO usually does much better than that. When you look at it this close, you can really see how the mouth especially is not particularly good. The hairpiece here, interestingly, is not dual molded. It's just dark tan, and the black is painted on. As far as I can tell, appears to be painted on. It's way too shiny, and both the hair and the face look wrong to me. They do have another option for facial expression on this head, but it's really mean and strong. And there again, the print isn't all that good. Neither of these really match the personality of the character throughout season 1. It's very goofy, and there's a lot of slapstick involved early on, similar to what they did with Rebels. But of course, Rebels turned very serious and got pretty dark by the end and pretty deep. I'm assuming that Filioni is going to do the same thing again with Resistance here. A little bit of bait and switch, starting things off more kid-like and then getting way more serious and really expanding the Star Wars canon. But yeah, this figure just doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. I mentioned that the series lines up with the timeline of the sequel trilogy. Well, the first season specifically overlaps partially with The Force Awakens, if not completely with The Force Awakens. And so we have General Organa here. Nice to get another of this figure. And I think that this is a fine depiction of that character. We don't see her a lot in the series, but it's nice to get another one of these. So no complaints here. I think it's done well enough. I think the highlights in the eyes there are a little bit off. Also the lip printing is, I think, a little bit low here. Just a little bit strange, some of these small production errors. This is one of the droids of the series. It's called Bucket as a nickname, but the official designation is R1J5. And surprisingly, it's not a droid with a cutesy personality. It's not bubbly. It doesn't even seem to be much into comic relief, though it does participate in some of the comedy, but kind of has a bad attitude, which is actually a relief. And as a figure, I think this is done pretty well. It needs more detail, more texture, but for its size, I think the depiction here is good. And again, we're just looking at prints, so that's a printed small body, which is actually just a Technic 2x2 round brick, and then you have the printed cylinder piece as well. Here are the spare parts left over from the build, so nothing too much to write home about. A couple of interesting pieces there, and you also get one extra laser bolt. In terms of value, this ship is a bit smaller than the TIE fighters of late, so you would expect that they would be able to sell this for, fortunately, less than the $70 they've been charging for TIE fighters, and especially with the price, with the part count there of just under 500. It would make sense for this to at least be brought down into the 60 range, but it's not. It's 70 again, which is very unfortunate, and I cannot recommend that you buy it for $70. If you can get it for 50 and you like what it looks like, yeah, go for it. If you can get it for 60 and you really, really like what it looks like, I think that'll be okay. I personally would not want to pay. I would not want to pay more than 55, but I can just barely see 60 US being okay. 70, nah. Just wait for a discount, even if you really like it. It's really unfortunate that the figure isn't right. The main figure, the main character, and I fear that they won't be fixing that in future sets either, if they do more Resistance sets, which I hope that they will, because they need to do the Fireball. And I also hope that the series will be a success, that it will follow a similar arc to Rebels and turn really serious and add some real quality additions to the Star Wars universe. Anyway, overall, pretty good set. One miss with one figure, otherwise well done, and the price just ain't right. Check out my speed build for this set. I will link to it presently, and I will talk to you again soon.